There's a storm across the valley. The clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulders. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, a mile or more away. The whining of his wheels just makes it colder.
Welcome to Community Forum. My name is Priscilla Almquist Olson. I'm your host for today. Today is February 29th? 25th,
Yep.
2020. And we welcome you to our show. Today we are so pleased and privileged to have the president of the Easton Lions Club with us, Lori Maver. To her right is John Morgan, whom we call Mr. Festival because he's in charge of the holiday festival that the Lions put on at the Rockery in the Oaks Ames Memorial Hall every December. To my immediate left is Dale Carrister. Did I pronounce that right?
You did.
Oh, and he is a long member of the Lions, and he is Mr. Specialist for the February auction. And to his left is Patty Summers, who is the Lions thrift store extraordinaire worker, and she's been a long time Lions member. I am a non-officio Lions member because every week, twice a week normally, I bring things to donate. My rule is don't go unless you donate something. So I go twice a week. I have lots of stuff. I am one of those people that are doing the Swedish death cleaning. Are you all familiar with that?
I've not heard of that one, no.
Well, you can imagine what it is. And not that I'm anticipating anything in the immediate future. But let's get down to business. The Easton Lions Club has been an extraordinary non-for-profit organization in Easton for many, many years. And it contributes to the health and welfare and culture of the Easton community. And it does many other things. But we're going to let our participants today explain what the benefits are to you as an Easton resident. And first we'll welcome Lori Maver, the president. And Lori, give us a little rundown of what are some of the offerings that the Easton Lions Club gives to our town.
So as the Lions Club, they raise money in all these different manners. With the thrift store, we have the auction every year. We have what we call the junk day. So all the monies that are coming in, they're immediately going right back out, and they're going back out to community organizations and events that are taking place through, say, the Boy Scouts, the House of Possibilities, all these different organizations that are providing services for our community. We're supporting by contributing funds and helping their programs. So it's, what are we, 178 strong now? Right around there. And so twice a month, we're always having our meetings. We're talking about different ways of contributing. And right now, we've got one of our biggest ones coming up, and that's our auction, which is a whole new format this year.
Okay, would you explain that format?
Well, I'm actually going to hand off to Dale. Maybe
Oh,
you
okay.
can explain this format.
So
for
we've
us?
shifted the auction a little bit this year. This will be our 34th annual auction, and as folks know, we typically set up and create a live studio with items being sold during the event as televised with various Lions and other volunteers appearing before the boards, taking telephone bids and so forth. This year we've shifted. We are going to continue to have the auction, but it'll be all online this year, starting February 29th, ending on March 7th. And we're really, really excited this year under the expert guidance of our celebration of Easton Chair Gary Fraden. We are now having a new format for the live event. So in lieu of having a televised auction on that evening, on Saturday, March 7th, we'll be having a celebration of Easton event. And the idea is we're partnering with many of the community service organizations in Easton. And we will have a live dinner event. The tickets are $35 each. We have a wonderful catered dinner by Twin Oaks Catering.
Please join us.
And yeah, please join us. And on Easton Lions auction, and If you go onto our website, you can click to purchase tickets, and then we will also be previewing the items starting in the next day or two. And the live auction will be starting this Saturday, running and ending during the event, the dinner event. And this is consistent with what we did with the holiday festival this year, and John can speak more to that, but the Lions are partnering with all of the different Easton organizations that are also doing wonderful community service work in town. And it's brought a new energy to it. We're really excited about it, and we hope folks are patient with us as we turn the ship around with a new format this year.
So the dinner reception is March 7th, and where's it located?
That's going to be at the Richardson Olmsted. We're calling it the Richardson Olmsted Cafe.
Yes.
In the cafeteria, and we are expecting to have anywhere from 200 to 250 people coming, and we will be having various live interviews and recorded interviews with various of the community service groups who are partnering with us.
Oh, good.
And who have received the benefit of the generosity of the folks of Easton who have supported the various Lions events.
Great. And what time is that?
So the doors will be opening at 5:30. The dinner will be starting at 6:30, running until approximately 8:30. And the folks who will be participating in the online auction, they will be able to pick up their items starting at approximately 7:30, running until about 9 o'clock that evening. So in the past, we would have a pick up and pay during the auction. This time, everything will be done online. So if you are the winning bidder, you will have already paid for it by having registered with Bidding for Good, and you'll be able to pick up your items. We will be closing out the items in groups every half an hour, starting at 7 o'clock, so 7, 7:30, 8, and 8:30. And it's going to be a wonderful event. We've got a lot of folks who will be interviewed live, and others will be having a video presentation. So we're really excited about it.
Great.
Absolutely.
And Eastern Community Access Television has been helping us with those interviews. and
That's
recording
right.
those, and they've got those in the can, as they say, ready to roll on that evening of the 7th.
Yeah, the ECAT has been one of our significant partners over the years, right from the inception when ECAT first began operations. In fact, they started about a month or two before our auction, and I recall sitting in the offices here without any furniture, and they were waiting, getting the equipment coming in, and we were hopeful that they would be able to televise. And they've been a wonderful partner of ours over the years in working with us to televise the live auction. They will also be televising the dinner event. So if folks are unable to come to the event, and we encourage you to do so, you'll be able to watch on ECAT, and we will be having the event being filmed, showing the various recorded interviews and live interviews, and also giving updates about the status of the online auction. So
Right.
that'll be available as, through ECAT as normal.
And can one pay online?
So one can, in fact, that's the primary way of buying your tickets. If you go on to the Easton Lions auction website, if you go on to the regular website for the Easton Lions, you'll find a place where you can click and you can preview items, and you can also go on to purchase your tickets through our auction website, $35 each.
But my question is, can you pay for the items you purchased online?
Yes,
Yes.
all of the items
Bidding.
that will be purchased through the online auction, when you register through Bidding for Good, which is the service we use to run the online auction, you register, you provide your credit card for it,
Okay.
and then if you are in fact the winning bidder, you will then, when we do the confirmation of that through Bidding for Good, then you will be charged for that item at that point. The really neat thing about the online auction is that you can follow it through your mobile device. So
Right.
whether during the event, the evening of the event or before, you will be able to keep track if somebody has outbid you on a certain item, and then you can indicate whether you would like to bid higher. And then that way, it makes for a lot of excitement. I've done it over the years. We've been doing the online auction in conjunction with the live auction in the past for a number of years. It's really quite fun.
Yes.
So I can just imagine the dinner. Everybody has his or her phone,
Phone, right?
right there to the right of the plate.
And we'll also have laptop computers set up in the room, so if folks want to come in and put a bid online, they can do it right there inside Richardson Olmsted's cafeteria.
So they can get up from their seat if they forget their phone
There
and
you
go
go.
directly to that
Last
tablet.
year we had about 238 items, and they were very interesting items
Yes.
that were bid on. This year, we hope to have as many as that as well. And if you are overbid, you'll get an email that said, sorry. So you get that chance again to
Renew.
realize that, gee, maybe I need to rebid or
So
whatever.
it's just like being on, all right, I'm having a senior
eBay.
moment.
Like
eBay, thank
Yeah,
you.
It's like a eBay
It's a
forum.
lot of fun. I did a lot of bidding last year too.
Bid high, bid often.
Yeah.
So
And
there's
I did
no
get
no
some
coming
stuff.
at 9:30 in the evening and writing checks anymore.
No,
No.
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 Well, that's great. That's very efficient, and also you can keep tabs immediately on how much money you're making.
Yeah, and this is also one of the events that, even though at home we have a rule, no cell phones at the table during dinner.
This is an
This
exception.
one, we
It's
not
okay.
only, we
Bring your
actually
smart
welcome
device.
and encourage it. And you receive text messages if somebody has outbid you on a certain item. You can also pre-establish your bidding before, so you can set what your maximum amount is if somebody outbids you.
So it's
You
just
can
like
have
eBay.
automatic up- It's a
Very
lot of
much,
fun. A lot
Yeah.
of
You,
fun.
you can start though on this Sunday, right?
So
20th.
starting
So
on
you can
Saturday,
start
the 29th.
The 29th. So
Yes.
you can actually go in. It's very easy. You go to eastonlions.org
There-
and look for the auction.
Right on the
Yep.
front
And you
page.
got to see
There's
it.
a
It's
hyperlink
really-
right there. Yep.
It's just great.
So I understand too that you give a scholarship every year.
We
Ooh,
give several
we give
scholarships
several,
every
yes.
year. We
Oh.
offer scholarships in a couple of different methodologies. One is the scholarships we offer to the students of OA, and the other is to the Southeastern Regional Voc Tech.
That's right.
So we've been supporting those through our scholarship committee for over 30 years. Something we're very proud of to support academic pursuits here in Easton.
Yeah, it's great. So, and I also understand that one of the basic supports that you have is the eye research. Can someone, Lori, talk a little bit about that?
The Mass Lions Eye Research. It's one of the biggest researches in the country, from what I'm understanding, for everything dealing with the eyes and vision. And we donate to them every year, and I must say that we're actually winning awards for giving
Yeah.
the most every year. But, you know, we do have one of the largest clubs in the country, so.
Exactly, and that reminds me, it wasn't so many years ago that you were chosen from all the Lions clubs in the entire world, the best Lions Club.
Yes, we were. Was
That was 2000.
Nancy Sullivan
Nancy
was
Sullivan was
yep,
president.
Nancy
Yeah, that
Sullivan
was
was president at the time.
2008, perhaps,
And,
that we received that recognition.
If I might add, this was the first year that the Lions had a woman as president.
As
That's,
well,
that was
that's
first year
correct.
the Easton Lions Club.
So-
We
did,
had the
right.
best Lions Club in the world out of 41,000, and we've been fortunate to have the expert guidance of our additional presidents with both Patty and Lori. And
There's a lot of women in the Lions. I was surprised the
It
first
has
time I
changed
came to
quite,
a meeting.
quite a bit.
Well,
I
Dale,
thought-
I must congratulate you. You have certainly been influenced by the Me Too movement, and we're so.
Well, I was right there, right off the bat.
I
he's not
know
late
you have
coming
been
to
a
the party.
feminist for many years, but we're very proud of that fact, we
Yes.
women. And we expect more. I'm sure John is also part of the club.
Yes, he is.
Okay, so what are the joys of being a member? Because I know you have one of the biggest clubs in the world, but what do you experience? I mean, I know that everybody is very collegial, but there's so much camaraderie.
That's what I was about to mention, the camaraderie and the friendships that you build. Just the relationships, knowing that if you ever need something, you've got so many different avenues of talent and knowledge and whatnot. So if I ever needed just opinions on anything, I can think of somebody that's in the Lions Club and I've become a friend with.
And
so-
and I'm sure that all the artisans, from plumbers and electricians, painters and carpenters,
Correct.
are your first thought is to a Lions member,
Yeah.
because you're rewarding them for supporting such a wonderful, worthwhile organization.
I'd also like to add that I didn't grow up in the area here. I grew up outside of Cleveland, and I moved to Easton in 1993. And not having grown up in the area here, for me, it was a real way to establish roots into the community. So whether you go to the Big Y, you go to Shaw's, you're always bumping into somebody you know, folks that you worked with flipping hamburgers at one of our events or otherwise. And it's a wonderful group of people whose principal focus is community service locally here in Easton and supporting eye research. And it's really just a wonderful way to have your roots in the town and feel connected and involved.
And let's talk a little bit about my favorite sub-organization of the Lions, the thrift store. Patty?
We love the thrift store.
Yeah,
Thrift
and
store is-
I love the thrift store because I found Swedish glass candle holders there for $1 each. And I happen to know that they're worth $50 a piece. Now, I should have probably told you that and given you more money.
It's never too late.
You can always donate.
We're open on Saturdays at the Eastern Grange, which is one of our favorites, from 9 to 3,
Yes.
and on Wednesdays from 9 till 2. So if you want to come join us,
Now, where
maybe
is
you'll
the-
find something wonderful.
Yeah, now isn't the Eastern Grange right next to the Union
Buddy's
Villa?
Union Villa.
Yeah.
So there's a
It's
landmark, and you know
another
we're right
great
next
supporter
door.
of our auction as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yes, tell us,
Nice.
John. They give every year 2,500
They-
pizzas or something.
They have, for many, many years, I've been in the club now 26 years, and I think for all of those, Buddy's Union Villa and their ownership have generously donated to our auction, giving us a certificate for 2 large cheese pizzas a week for an entire year. And it's one of the
It's
most
incredible.
sought-after auction items
Yep.
that we have. So we're in hopes that they'll support us again this year with that same level of generosity.
Not
Now-
putting you on the spot, sorry.
We are putting you on the spot. absolutely.
If I could also add, we've been very fortunate with the generosity of the business community in Easton that have supported the work of the Alliance generally and the auction in particular. So Dr. Halverson has given 2 $1,000 certificates for new patients for as long as I can
Exactly.
remember,
Yes.
and been a huge supporter of what we do. Bourne's Auto has given us many autos that we've been auctioning off. They'll be doing so again next year. And we have folks like Northeastern Savings Bank and other sponsors. And it's all up and down the line with the local Easton business community. And it's another one of these things where you have folks working together. You have the business community, you have the Lions, some of us who have a little bit of gray hair, and you have the various volunteers with the Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, Brownies, Daisies, Girl Scouts, and the high school kids coming over to help with the events. And you asked earlier about one of the benefits of being in the Lions. One of the first things I got involved in was helping out at the Holiday Festival and working with the high school kids who were volunteers. My kids at that point were younger, not in the high school yet, and it was just gratifying to see the kind of kids we would have to come turn out and help and work with us gray-haired folks for events like that. It
And
really
now
was
we have the
gratifying.
Leos Club.
And we have the Leos, and they're working right now with having lunches for mainspring houses. They've done one batch one time, and now they're going to do another batch. They are also were involved with giving out coats this particular last year. They raise funds too by selling products within the high school to help support their group. We just don't just support them; they support themselves as well.
Yeah, let's point out that the Leos is the Lions club at the high school, made up of high school members.
Correct. Yes.
And there's probably about 18 of them right now that are
Yeah.
very active, very active. They are wanting the kids who are part of the program to be responsible and to be doing.
So
some
what you're
sort of work.
doing is you're providing future Lions members. You're sort of setting them up for future service.
Well, they're learning about community.
No, that's a
and
compliment.
And that's what
we're
Lions
hoping
are all
they
about.
Join the Lions Club when
Yeah.
they're adults.
I think it's a
Correct.
great strategy, and also they're learning great lessons about responsibility, as you pointed out, but also
A sense of service.
a sense of service to their community. And we all know that helping other people really helps ourselves, right? We feel so good about it. We enjoy it. And as you've said, you develop wonderful friendships.
Yes.
Correct.
So,
Priscilla, if I may, I want to speak to a point of pride in that. The reason I joined the Lions Club is that I'd learned years ago that every penny of this organization here at the Easton Lions, which is a 501c3 organization, every single penny that we bring in from contributions from organizations and people outside the club through our different fundraisers, 100% of that goes to the charitable works that we support as a Lions Club. So our club brings in somewhere in the neighborhood of $125,000 a year that we turn right around and we donate back to the community.
Correct.
Our biggest benefactor of that is iResearch, and that's because in 1917, Helen Keller approached a businessman's group in Chicago, Illinois, and asked them to be her Knights of the Blind, and that really started Lions International. Eastern Lions Club's now in our 86th year, I think, Lori?
We're going to actually be 90.
90.
Yes.
All right,
Is it
I
the
slept through a few years, I
96th year?
So we're an organization that's been around for a while, and I think a number of people who support our organization and join our organization do so because they want to be part of something that gives to the community, that there's no overhead for. We're not siphoning funds off to pay for fixed and variable costs of running a business. We're an organization that money comes in through donations, contributions, goes right back out to the organization. Last year we clipped the $500,000 level with monies donated by the Easton Lions Club to Mass Eye Research.
Wow.
And we can point tangibly to results that our funding has generated for people helping solve issues of glaucoma, blindness. So that's a big focus of our contribution. But the other part is you can feel proud about being a member of an organization that doesn't have any hidden agendas, doesn't have a secret handshake, is really focused on one thing, and that is we're a collection of people who are rooted in this community, focused on giving to this community. And that generates a lot of camaraderie, a lot of friendships, and folks join and stick around for a long, long time. So give us a look if you have any interests in joining an organization that's got some great ties to this wonderful community. In a lot of ways, it's part of what makes the community of Easton special. So,
Well, is
eastonlions.org.
that the best
Agreed.
pitch I have ever heard?
That was
There you go.
Now, well said, and so our listening and viewing audience, please go online to eastonlions.org,
Yes.
is that correct? And check out all of the wonderful benefits that you will receive as a member of the Lions Club, and consider joining. Also, is it today online that one can view the auction items?
So the auction items will start to be made available by tomorrow for viewing online, and the online auction itself will start at Saturday morning, February 29th. It will end March 7th, and we will have the items close off in half-an-hour groups starting at 7 o'clock, and the last group of items will close out at 8:30 on Saturday evening, March 7th.
So tomorrow, February 26th, 2020, tune in, go online to eastonlions.org and view the auction items and be the first to bid. I want to thank everyone here today for
Well,
joining
thank
us.
you.
And I must end it with a little story. I go to visit my relatives in Sweden almost every year. And some years ago, I think it was in 2007, I discovered Lions International secondhand boutiques. And that's what they call them over there in Sweden. And so there's one on the island of Orust, which is on the west coast, 1 hour north of Gothenburg, where my mother's parents came from and settled on Jenny Lind Street in Northeastern. Appropriately, Jenny Lind Street. And then there's one on the sister island of Tjörn. And so I go to both of them, and I get all of these wonderful, wonderful items, which I'm going to bring back, which I bring back to offer for sale at very reasonable prices, because I buy them so cheaply. You know, all those grandchildren are throwing out all the grandma's embroidered tablecloths and copper coffee pots and all that stuff. And so here's a little plug for me. The Kaffeestuga at First Lutheran Church, it will be held, I think it's the first Saturday in November or the second Saturday, but you can find it online. And I'll be there with 4 or 5 tables of wonderful, wonderful things. And I always have a great audience, and I get pleasure from that too, because although it helps me to fund my trips to Sweden, I offer them at such reasonable prices. And maybe the Lions Thrift Store in Easton has had a big influence on me in that regard.
Glad we could.
Yeah,
You bring a lot of stuff every week to the thrift store.
I do.
She comes loaded.
Yeah, yeah, it's
to
part
help
of.
to donate. And if you have things that you want to donate to the Easton Thrift Store, you can do so on any Wednesday before 1 or any Saturday before 1 p.m. If you have things that you
Drop
don't
by.
need anymore, you want to help us generate money to help support our programs in the community and our research, bring your stuff to our place.
Yes.
We'd love to have it.
Great. And on that note, we will say adjö. Oh, that's Swedish.
You said what?
Adieu, adieu. And we thank you for watching. We hope you have enjoyed this presentation and have learned a great deal about the workings and the benefits of the Lions Club to your community. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Be
you.
well.
Bye, folks.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thanks, Priscilla. That was
You're
great.
welcome.
Great.
That was fun.